Welcome to the Business Chaser, your quick pour of strategy, clarity, and momentum. We skip the small talk and get straight to the strategy here in these bite-sized episodes. We're here to help you grow smarter, market better, and chase what matters, all in 15 minutes or less. I'm your host, Lauren Najar. Tune in and let's chat.
Hello, my name is Cassie Williamson, and I am a music educator and the owner of Cassie Williamson Music. And if you heard anything about my recording with Lauren on Monday, we talked a little bit about why I do what I do. And a big part of that is fighting for those who are differently abled, have disabilities, and so on. And partially why this is a big cause to me is when I was in college myself, I lost my eyesight, and I kind of just had to be my own advocate and fight for myself. And, some days were harder than others, but I had many professors that wouldn't maybe help me the most and kind of just forced me to get through it, which in some ways I am happy for because it gave me a lot of motivation and determination. But I don't think everyone deserves to have such a hard time just to learn music if they're differently abled. So with that, in my studio, I very much fight that anyone can learn music. It doesn't matter what your motor function is like, what academically grade level you are, all of that really doesn't matter. And I really wanted to talk about a few scenarios in which I have been through in the last few years that have just been amazing moments in which I saw those that maybe people would give up on, and I just didn't let them give up. One story I want to talk about is I had a man that was probably his late 20s, and he had cerebral palsy. And if you don't know what that is, typically it messes with your motor function. Some of them can't walk correctly. Some of them have trouble making certain vowels, things like that. And he really wanted to be a singer, and very specifically, though, in church. So he was studying to be a pastor, and he just could not match pitch or match vowels to any of the people he was singing around. And obviously, if you're a pastor, you have to be able to lead pretty well in a musical way. And this was something that him and I worked on. I would do so much research online about teaching music to those with cerebral palsy, and nothing would pop up. And I had to just make my own creative exercises, researching a ton with speech therapy, which I am no speech therapist, but kind of implementing speech therapy and voice lessons, combining the two. And eventually he started reading music and matching pitch like it was nothing. And it probably took us a year or so to even get to that point. But he would even say, he's like, my family didn't even believe that I could do this. And here you are, which, broke my heart because everyone, again, they can do this. You just need the right support system. And even if I'm out here having to create curriculums, we're going to make it work. But that was one that has really always stuck with me. I have a lot of students that are blind or deaf, and some might be like, how are you deaf and playing music? A lot of them can feel the rhythms, or some of them, they are deaf, but they have a little bit of hearing left, or they have a hearing aid. And sometimes, obviously, it could be an obstacle of things we have to work through, but we always make it work. Those that are blind, honestly, I think have a better musical ear than anyone because they are so sensitive with their hearing. It's just insane what they can do. A lot of them have perfect pitch and don't even realize it. I remember having someone who was blind, and they actually would get mad if I sang slightly off pitch because they were like so good at it that if I sing slightly off, they're like, please stop. And I have a whole degree in singing, so I don't think I'm too bad at it. So yeah, those have been some really good moments too. I had someone who was maybe in their 30s, around 36, academically, maybe about first grade. She had little to no fine motor skills in her hands, very shaky. And her parents were very worried that maybe she was going to be going into something that was going to be too hard for her. And maybe this was just too much for her. On day one of lessons, we were just trying to see what she could do. And her mom almost took her out and was like, this is too much for her. She can't handle this. And after, I want to say, a few months, she was already starting to press keys on her own. Obviously, it took a lot of exercises. And again, I would look online, nothing about teaching music to those with low fine motor skills, especially adults. Sometimes you'd maybe find something for little kids, but you don't want to teach someone who's 36 just like a 6-year-old either. And it actually made me tear up because I made someone who literally couldn't move their hands play piano, which is crazy. So yeah, that was another big one. I have so many more. I could go on for days and days. And another big thing why I got so into this is when I worked in public schools, I would teach choir, music classes, band, orchestra. And honestly, they would have the kids who were nonverbal, etc., all sit in the corner and color while I was just teaching choir, teaching music. And every single time, it would just break my heart. I'm like, they're not even doing anything with class. Like, that's okay. They could just color. And I don't always blame the schools because they don't have the best funding and they don't have the best resources either. But it would break my heart. And I remember even going to my admin one day and being like, I will literally take one of my 3 planning periods out and teach these kids and have their own music class. And they just would not let me, which was another reason why I built my own business, because I was like, I want to have a space where all these kids who aren't getting that opportunity, an opportunity to do this. But yeah, I've had kids who really can't speak to me, essentially nonverbal. I can teach them piano. It just, obviously it takes a lot of time, but you get there. I've had kids who with short-term memory that need reminders to go in the shower and every day, but even once they get in the shower, they need a reminder to even use shampoo. That's how short memory we're talking about. I've taught them guitar chords to the point where their muscle memory just remembers it, that it doesn't matter what their brain's really doing. Their fingers know what to do more than their brain sometimes. And you've probably heard a lot of things. Those with dementia and stuff can play piano, but they don't know anyone around them. I think that's kind of crazy what music can do. It really just brings your physical motor skills and everything into it, even if your brain's not there. And I have found that to be just amazing in all of my lessons as well. I've had students that have ADD or ADHD, and they can't sit in school at all, but they will sit in piano because we've worked through so many things. Sometimes we might be playing drums or piano while standing up and moving around, whatever, but they're still able to do it. And you can see the happiness in their parents' eyes because they're like, I didn't think my son would ever do this, or I didn't think my daughter would ever do this. And, So yeah, I just want to say with all of this, music has way more effect on people than you probably think. And those with disabilities can do just as much as us, maybe even more. I think some are more musically inclined than I am. And when it comes to even things outside of music, we should give them more of a chance to be out in the world, give them the right resources to do these things, and yeah, just give them more chances because they're just like us. Thank you.
That's your quick hit of clarity and momentum for the week. If it sparks something, share it with a friend or tag us in your stories at Business Over Cocktails and or at Lauren Najar. We love seeing what resonates. Don't forget, Mondays are for full-length episodes with rich conversations, and Fridays are the Business Chaser episodes. These are bite-sized insights pulled from our guests to keep you inspired and aligned throughout the week. Do you have a question or a takeaway? DM us at Business Over Cocktails. We just might feature it in a future episode. Cheers!